Hey guys, I'm Teddy, and
I'm Shana.
And we're just sitting here having coffee at the office.
Literally just a coffee meeting, just to catch up. Yeah.
And from my point of view, just like, you're a manifester. We're all creators. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a couple discussions. I want to let her know some information from some books that I've read. She's already recommended me some books, and what I'll do is I'll link the books that we talk about, as well as maybe some YouTube videos or whatever else in the comment section, wherever I post this. And also, it'll be in my mindset workshop that I'm delivering this week.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So we were talking a little. So we don't have. It doesn't have to be as formal.
Sure.
Now we're
right.
The
okay.
Part. So there was. I was about to tell you about a book. Okay, it's called Outwitting the Devil. So there's a book by a gentleman named Napoleon Hill, and his most popular book is called Think and Grow Rich. Have you ever heard of it? Mm-mm. All right. Think and Grow Rich basically is a roadmap to changing your mindset to better utilize, to better be able to manifest the things that you want in your life.
Thinking, Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich.
Okay, Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, there was
I've heard of it.
You might have. It's like one of the most popular self-help books available. And at the opening of the book, he says that when I think it was a gentleman named Howard Schweitzer, he said, he was asked a question, what is the problem with men today? And the answer was, men simply don't think. So the premise of the book is that you can think your way to prosperity, you can think your way to success, and you can basically think your way to creating the life that you want. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of the principle in the whole thing behind the whole law of attraction, manifesting the principles as well.
Right.
We can go into some detail about that book, but that's not necessary. What I think is his second book, called Outwitting the Devil, is the reverse. Basically, it's everything that happens inside of you in order to prevent you from achieving your dreams. Okay. And of this, there's one thing. Basically, you have two types of people. From his standpoint, for me, I think it's three. But you have two types of people. You have people who create their life. They engineer their life, and then you have another type of person who literally drifts through life. It's the difference between reacting to circumstances around you and not feeling like you're in control to feeling in control. And I liken it to flowing down a river. Right. So the river of life, you're going to have to flow down a river regardless. Right. So you can either be in the boat and pick up the oars and paddle to get you to where you want to go and to avoid hurdles in the river, which you can't avoid all of them. Like you can't avoid the waterfall, you can't avoid all the rocks, but you can navigate through them like a white water rafter.
I see what you're saying.
And to a lot of people, they're in the boat of life and they don't feel like they're in control. The oars are right next to them, but they just kind of float along.
You see Bird Box when they had the blindfold when they had the blindfold on and they were floating down the river, and
I haven't seen it.
Don't be like them, basically. Be in control of your life. So what's the third? You said there's three types of people.
So to me, there's a third type, and that's destroyers. So I come from I come from a world where I have to think about problems. I have to think about terrorism, and I have to think about responding to chemical, biological, and radiological accidents, and So for me, I know that there are other people who are willing to use their pain and their suffering to hurt other people. Mm-hmm. So to me, there's creators, destroyers, and drifters.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
People come to mind when you mention each category, so that's kind of crazy. Yeah.
And they have different characteristics.
Yeah.
So, have you ever heard of? See, now I'm getting into like teacher / discussion mode, and I want you to talk about these things. So I'll basically give you some stuff, and you can just run with it. Sure. But for me, there's another book that's really short read, but really impressive. It's called the Empowerment Dynamic, or the Power of TED. Okay. TED, go figure my name's TED. So TED stands for the Empowerment Dynamic. Basically, in every story there's a drama, or in a drama there's three people. Right. There's a victim, there's the villain, and there's a hero. Mm-hmm. Now, I believe that we're all heroes of our own life. Mm-hmm. So if we're all the heroes of our own life, that literally means that either we're saving other people or we're creating our own life.
Right.
And a superhero. So here's the problem with this. Here's the problem with this thing. It's called the dreaded drama triangle. Basically, the villain's up here, the victim's up here. I think Batman.
Right.
Gotham City. Right.
Okay.
Gotham City's the victim. The Joker is using Gotham City to get at the hero. So Gotham says we need a hero, so Batman is there to save them. So Batman goes and vanquishes the villain, and then now there's two quotes in this thing. It says, there's two quotes, one by Harvey Dent, one by the Joker. It says you either live long enough to see yourself become the villain, or you die the hero. Okay. So you either die trying to save the people, or you see yourself become the villain of the people. Basically, the person who can save you is also the person who can continue to hurt you. So that's called drama. Yeah. So the problem is the people who are victims have a mindset, and this is the first class that I teach when I talk about mindset. Okay. The people who are victims have a mindset that makes them a victim. Basically, they're saying, yes, I could fight against this villain. I might die. I'm not going to take responsibility for that. Can you come save me? Savior mentality. Wow. And then you have the superhero who believes that the victim can't save himself, so they come to the rescue. Yep. Because they have a superhero complex. And then the victim, they're the destroyer. So in this thing right totally. Here, you have your
just broke it down. That's crazy.
And so this happens in real life. This happens every day. I hope we can talk about religion. It'll come back up in a couple minutes. But so the villain sees the victim as a victim because the victim's not taking responsibility to fight back. That's why they say you have to fight the bully. Yep. Because at least if you fight, even if he beats you up, you're going to keep fighting him until you win. So he knows not to pick on the kid who's going to fight me back because eventually he's going to win. Right. So that's the first thing. The victim now hates the villain. I mean, the victim hates the villain. The villain now hates the hero because the hero's stopping the victim, the villain, from getting what they want from the victim. So what happens when the villain's gone? So you got your victim, you have your superhero, you have your villain. So now the superhero comes over, knocks out the villain. Right. New villain. Now he's the new villain. Right. Or a new villain will emerge. Of course. And that person will keep saving people until they burn out. Yep. And they die a hero, or they become the villain. Goodness. Now there's a shift. The mindset shift happens when a person takes responsibility for their life. Basically, they recognize that they've been a drifter. They basically recognize that they've been reacting their whole lives. And now they decide that they no longer want to react. They want to be in control. So they take responsibility for their thoughts, their feelings, their actions, their beliefs, like we talked about for manifestation. Yeah. Because you literally can't manifest if you think you're a victim. Okay. And then the superhero, then the villain becomes an obstacle or a challenge. Right. Now, an obstacle or challenge, seen from a standpoint of responsibility, is an opportunity to grow. And now they say, I can't do this on my own. But now they're responsible, so they're not seeking a superhero. They're like, who can coach me through this? Right. So now that hero becomes a coach because clearly that hero knows something that the victim doesn't know. But they're not a victim anymore, so they can learn it because they have what's called a growth mindset. Have you heard this term before?
Yes, I have. Yep.
And so then basically choosing responsibility is choosing a mindset that you can become better.
So what's the opposite of the growth mindset? I can't.
Fixed mindset.
There we go.
So a fixed mindset says I am what I am and this is what I am and I'll never be anything different. Yep. A growth mindset says I am what I am because I made myself this way. I'm a seed and I can be anything different. Okay. That's important. Very important. Yeah. Wow, I just went through my whole mindset class. It's a good summary.
But that's deep. Oh my goodness. And then, so
my take on it is everybody in that situation has their own power, right? Has their own energy, like you were saying. And now what they've got to realize is what roles they're playing in other people's lives, right? Because we're not just individuals. So if you can be a hero to one person, a villain to another person, and have a victim mindset, which keeps the drama going. Yeah. Right? So now the person who is a victim, like you can be victimizing somebody, but they can also be victimizing you. Yeah. And that's what you call, when you're doing that in a relationship, that's when you have those relationships that spiral down and take apart. Right. So now moving to like a spiritual or religious conversation, when we were born, the most basic thing that we were all given was the ability to decide basically free will.
Yeah.
Free will and freedom of movement, freedom of expression. Basically, we're free.
Yeah.
And so choosing to be dramatic or choosing to live a disempowered life is a choice. Mm-hmm. Choosing to be a victim is a choice. But we all have that choice. So this is one of my contentions with Christianity, actually. Okay. This is what actually, this is inside of me. This is what changed me. Once I realized that the looking at Jesus as a savior figure, dying for your sins, saving you, you're not responsible for your own actions. You can do basically anything, and as long as you accept this person, that you'll be forgiven. That's the same thing as a superhero complex. Right. Which I don't think he had. I think he came here to teach people how to do things for themselves and taught them how to serve their creator, but also love themselves, love their community, love their people, love themselves, love the work that they're doing. Mm-hmm. To me, he was an ultimate coach, not a superhero. He didn't come here to save me. He came here to teach me how to save myself. Right. And so with that, without a victim mindset, I think one of the issues in religions, people have a victim mindset. They're waiting for somebody to come and save them. Therefore, they're not putting in their work to understand how God has already given them everything they need to save themselves.
That is so deep. That is so deep and so powerful. Wow. I mean, I don't really
arguing with somebody about religion. So religion to me is a social construct. Mm-hmm. Religion is a group of people coming together to say that they believe something similar. Yep. But also a religion has in order to be a religion, you have to have an orthodoxy, you have to have an institution, you have to have a structure of beliefs, you have to have a definition of who is in and who is out, and you have to have a rite of passage. Right. If you don't have those things, you don't have religion. So what I believe is that each of us are inherently connected to our Creator, and that our Creator gave us certain skills, abilities, and things to use in this world, and that is up to us to figure out what those things are, and then to learn the laws. If we learn the laws and we learn the rules of the game, and we know we basically we're like, have you played video games before? I'm sure. Yeah. Every video game, each character has their own characteristics. They have their own skills and adaptabilities and things that they're good at. But the game, the board, or the game that they're playing is the same. Yeah. But how they choose to play the game is different, and how they choose to play the game, based off of the game, the structure of the game, with the skills that they have in the game, determines what they're going to do inside the game. Right. So that's how I feel like we are. We're just we're like little souls that I believe that we. I say I believe, but we have a seat of power inside of us, like here, and we sit there and we control all of the things inside of this body, including our consciousness and what we choose to think about.
Let's talk third eye. Okay. So what are your thoughts on third eye? Do you believe that there's things out there that are stopping us from accessing like this higher, like not reality, but this higher understanding of what really is? Like, I hear like little things out there like, oh, stay away from fluoride, which I do, but I do. That's not why. Because it's messing up your pineal gland or whatever.
I just don't want any chemicals inside of me. I didn't choose to put that.
Okay, exactly. That's a whole other topic. That's a whole other topic. But so I think actually that mankind, we limit ourselves from seeing more of what's around us. Right. Because I do believe that what's around us, if we had access to everything that's going on, we wouldn't be able to handle it. And this is why I think that. If somebody says, if I go to somebody just at random Joe Smo on the street, and I know we talked about this previously, and you guys probably don't know what the heck is happening right now, but if I go to Joe Blow on the street and I say, hey, the earth is flat, just saying that will elicit so much anger and emotion. Yeah. So now, let's say for instance, and I'm not saying it is or is not, I have a thought, but I'm not saying that something is true when I don't have any proof, basically. But what I will say, and so if somebody's going to react emotionally and get bent up out of shape about that, right? And this is something that they can see. This is a reality that they can test. What happens when you start telling them about a reality that they can't see, can't test, can't verify, can't validate? They have no access to, because they're not the kind of person who lets that perception. Basically, those with eyes will see, those with ears will hear, and those with heart will perceive. Not everybody wants to perceive the big giant truth, and even if we did without all of the right information, Right.
I just don't understand that though. Why wouldn't you want to know? Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to know? Why wouldn't you want to know if something is killing you, or if we're being poisoned, or if the system is setting people up for failure? Like, why? Why do you want to play it safe?
One reason I think people want to play it safe is it's easier to fit in with its numbers. It's easier to fit in. If you believe, think, and do what everybody else does, you're safe.
Yeah.
If you stand out and you're special in any way or different in any way, basically a nail that sticks up out of the ground gets hammered.
Right. I mean, this makes me think about like white privilege, which I honestly believe, well, I know it's real. I have people who, admit it, but then you have your people who are, maybe I should be careful what I'm talking about, but then you have your people who swear it's not real. But here's the thing, it is. Ask your neighbor.
Right, whether they know it or not, it exists.
It exists. But the thing is, a lot of people know, they just want to admit it because, then they're going to have to change their easy life so that everyone can be equal.
Well, even if they admitted it and they knew about it,
right.
I think the mistake is, okay, this goes back to one of the other previous points. Why would you not want to know? If you know something, now you're responsible to change it.
Exactly.
And if you keep yourself ignorant, you don't have to change anything. You can keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
I have a lot of friends who think that I'm weird. They just think I'm way out there. The stuff I talk about, the things I study, the things I know, they think it's weird. But at the same time, they respect it. But here's what they'll say. And I have great friends who will say this. They're like, you could probably teach me a lot about this stuff, but I seriously would just rather not know. Because if I know, it's going to stress me out and worry me, and I don't want to be worried about it. So if I can't tell them about nuclear weapons or what's going to happen in a country over the next 5 years or 10 years, or what would happen if there was an EMP blast, right? Or they don't want to hear about my faith because my faith has a lot to do, what I believe has a lot to do with what I think is happening in the world today.
Right.
They don't want to know that stuff. They don't want to know what I think is going to happen next.
Right.
On a big scale.
Yeah.
They don't want to, like when I start talking about like me running for Congress, they don't want to hear about things that people aren't talking about in the news.
Right.
The things that really matter. So for me, it's...
But yet, a lot of these people will take anything that the media puts out and run with that. And that's it.
Right. But for the same reason, it's comfort.
I know.
As long as they know what everybody else knows and they can talk about things with other people, then they fit in and they don't stick out and they don't get hammered.
Yeah. That's not okay.
I've lost jobs because I am the way I am,
Yeah.
So...
That's... good.
Right. It's good.
Yeah.
I've left jobs because of the way I am. There's you have to be comfortable with yourself. This goes back to not having a victim mindset.
Yeah.
You can stick out from the crowd and be your own person as long as you're willing to take the responsibility.
Right. Wow. Sorry. So where are we going next with this conversation?
Anywhere you want.
All right. Let's see here. Talk about. Okay, let me tell you the topics that I like to discuss. Maybe we can do a video on these, so this doesn't make this video, but I like talking about race. So
me too.
I
don't believe in race.
Huh?
I don't believe.
You don't believe in race? All right, go ahead.
So
you don't believe in race?
I don't believe in race.
Okay.
Race. There's this concept called racialism.
Okay.
That was developed in the 1500s, late 1500s, early 1600s, in Europe, and basically it was a theory of our differences. They tried to mix people up in race, and the concept basically it goes back to this: is that humankind or mankind is broken down into different groups.
Right.
Each group is racing for dominance over the world. So the reason why they call it a race is because the Europeans, the white folks who came here, literally believed that they were in a race of power over other people.
Okay.
That's the concept. So I don't believe that. However, to not acknowledge our differences is just stupid. I believe that we are different, but I believe we're different nations of people.
Right.
So a nation of people is determined by a common ancestry, a common history, common language, a common culture, and a common way of seeing the world and a common future. Okay. So basically it's a community. A nation is a community of people who have certain beliefs and histories. We in the United States just happen to be a nation of nations. So in my studies of international relations, that's where I learned where the concept of the nation state, like we have it now, came from. Right. Which is very different than the last, 2,000 years. So we call it race, but we really mean nation. But we're calling something else nation when we really mean like a community or an empire.
Right. Okay. So then, do you think that all of this is being manipulated by media? I mean, this is all, everything that goes on.
I think that we are at the end stages of a great empire that is controlled through the media.
Gotcha.
And the media is just a tool of control. And the more news we watch, and the more things that we're all being controlled.
If you could change our country right now, if you had the power to change our country, tell me what you would do in like 3 minutes.
Okay.
All right.
You asked for it.
I'm ready. In 3 minutes.
So first thing I would do is I would immediately start moving. I would go out and educate people on communal living, and we would form small communities, and people would live to cities, and people would become fully sustainable off-grid communities that live close to water sources and in arable land where they can grow all their fruits and vegetables. We would not be socialist, but we would be free. Basically, we would have the opportunity to do whatever we want.
Okay.
And I am, but it doesn't matter. It's okay.
You're good.
So that I would literally change the whole thing. I would change the whole system. Our taxes would be volunteered from people. It wouldn't be taken by force. There'd be no IRS. There'd be a tax collection. Basically, it would be like a community service type thing.
Right.
And we would, as a nation, we would decide what buckets to put our money in.
Okay.
So we would say education fund, defense fund, offensive military operations, housing. We would have all of these choices, and basically people could choose where they put their money, but they would commit every year. Yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to commit to that. I would also change the structure of government. These people wouldn't be, the lawmakers and everything wouldn't be making laws for the states. Basically, they would be coming together to talk about problems and how to solve problems rather than creating laws to control people. Each person would be free. I would get rid of the Federal Reserve. Each person would be free like it was back into 1933. I would forgive all debt. Okay. And we would have a new monetary system that was not based on interest, but would be based on investment.
Okay.
I can keep going.
You got a minute and a half.
Wow.
If you want to.
Socially, we would organize ourselves very differently. Basically, I believe that every community should be governed by the people in the community.
Okay.
Meaning, kind of like what we're doing, like with you at the United Way and me with the nonprofit support. I think we need more of that and a lot less government. And if government's going to be there, the money from the government should go into those people who are doing those projects, solving the problems in the community that they have. And this, I feel like it should be like this in every community. And anybody who lives outside of communities should be left well enough alone. You know? I don't believe in HOAs, and I just don't organize how you want. But the number one value that I value in our country is freedom, and I think that people don't really understand what that actually is. Yeah. Because freedom means freedom from and freedom to. Freedom from any threat of violence, and freedom to do anything you want where you're not violating another person's freedom.
I like that. Teddy for president 2020, please.
I keep hearing that. Not 2020.
I know, yeah. Another few years, but that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. This guy is a wealth of knowledge.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I guess.
I wasn't expecting to get all of this out of just a coffee meeting, but wow.
These are the things in my head. This is why, it's a burden to know things.
Yeah. Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah.
But it's also fun. Yeah. But again, like we were talking about, when you know all of these things, but these things don't translate into monetary wealth. Mm-hmm. Unless I would, maybe if I had I was a speaker locally and I had a couple events, I wonder if people would show up. But then again, at the same time, people might show up, and I might get a lot more hate. I can't believe that motherfucker said that.
But I mean, because the things that you say can be controversial, but for people who have open minds, I think it'd be cool.
Right.
I think that we're too worried about stepping on each other's toes. The one thing that I feel like isn't done anywhere are conversations for people to just come in with an open mind. People just want to talk about what they feel safe talking about. It is so hard to have a conversation about race, in a community. I know you don't think race is real, but why can't we just sit down and talk about it? Let's come to.
It's real. If it's real to other people, it's real to me.
Right.
So if they want to sit down and talk about race, I know what they mean.
Yeah.
I don't believe it exists, but that's just that's side thing. We need to have a real conversation because we are all different people and we're not acknowledging our differences and we're not.
Okay.
So you were talking about manifesting earlier. How does this conversation about mindset intersect with all of the reading and things that you have been going over about manifesting?
Well, it's everything. I mean, the most powerful thing that we have is this mindset, and I'm just going off my own experiences. Well, first let me say that, like, one of my goals is to read a crap ton more because I didn't read much, but reading is just so therapeutic and powerful, and the knowledge is really how you apply the knowledge is what is powerful. But so manifesting and mindset, where do I start? So we can create the life that we want. Everything is energy all the way down to your thoughts. Your thoughts are the energy, your vibration. If your vibration is high, which is good, then you are more likely to attract great things. And if you have a low vibration, it's easier for you to suck in the negative things and have a negative life. So if you, for example, spill coffee on your shirt in the morning and you say, this is going to be a bad day, you're going to have a bad day, but not because you spilled coffee on your shirt, because you decided from that point on, I'm going to have a bad day. You put it out there. The universe just does its job and it goes and gives you what you asked for and what you put out. So, so if you spill coffee on your shirt, okay, not a big deal. It's just a shirt. I can change it. Go on with your day. It's going to be a good day. You're going to have a good day. I don't know, like, just to get, to break it down. But, so the mindset is really powerful in, like, creating what you want. But affirmations are really powerful too. And for a month now, I've been telling myself that, which I don't make a lot of money, but I told myself that I have more than enough money, and I have not felt the struggles and the stress that I have felt, the year prior to that. And just the way I see things. So one thing that I was really struggling with, but I don't want to live my life like hating Mondays and looking forward to Fridays, because then that's 5 or 4 days in the week that just went by, and then before you know it, you live like that, your life is over. What did you do with all that time? You sat there and you waited for something instead of being present in the moment. So telling yourself that, you love what you do, even if you don't, it really changes everything. I look forward to Monday, and I caught myself having the feeling of, it's almost the weekend. Like, I didn't get everything done that I wanted to because I was just really almost a little too much in the moment. So I don't know. I just really think it's so powerful. And people just need to be open to the idea. A lot of people, like, when I talk about manifesting and, like, using healing crystals and things like that, think I'm crazy or like a witch or something. But it's like, if you know that something can help make your life better, why not try it? Why not just be open to it? Like, don't shut it down right away. All you got to do is look in the mirror and tell yourself that you have the things that you want already. Really writing down, like, right now I'm manifesting a house. Do
you have an idea? Do you have the exact house in your head?
I wrote it down. I took pictures and put it on a vision board. I'm actually going to look at a house very similar to that. I mean, it's crazy because getting the list from my realtor, I'm like, wait, I think that's the house. I know, but the thing is, even if I see something and it doesn't work out, I don't stress because I know it's coming. It's like, I know my house is coming. I'm attracted. Yeah, exactly. I know that the perfect house for me is coming, and that's just like a small thing. You kind of just gotta...
So let's say this. Say, right now, I live in the perfect house.
I live in the perfect house. Yeah.
Yeah.
I live in the house that I need. So, and I have all the money that I need. I'm happy. I'm worthy of all the things I desire. So I'm not really worried. Like, it's weird. It's crazy how you have the choice to decide how you think about things. I haven't been, struck with a situation that's very, like, devastating yet. So I'm curious to see, like, since, trying to transform my mind, how I'm going to handle it. But I feel like, it's just knowing that you're not attached to your feelings. Right. You can decide how to react or whether or not to react. So
that's the most important thing I think each one of us could say. So there's a parable. It's called The Elephant and the Rider. Basically, the elephant is a representation of it's a big animal.
I heard this before,
big, immovable animal. And if you just let it do whatever it wants, it can knock down entire villages. It can fuck up everything.
Yep.
It can take you off the path because it sees a different path. Now, your consciousness is the rider. And you are choosing, you have reins that you have on this elephant. Whenever you focus on the path, you'll take the elephant there. If you look around, the elephant will start taking control and will start going everywhere. So basically, we look at our emotion. What we're supposed to do is look at our emotions as a guide to how we are experiencing our current situation, and detach ourselves from it and say, here's our emotion. I'm fearful. I'm worried. I'm concerned. But I am perfect. But then you say, but, consciously, I am happy. I have everything. I am whole. I am confident. I can go forth and do something. I have the power over this situation, and I'm not my emotions.
And that's why meditation is so important. And it's so crazy because it's one of the things that I feel like it's hard to do, to get yourself to just sit down and give yourself 5 minutes to get in your own head. It's like a free vacation you can take, and it's one of the most beautiful places you can go. But just like anything, it's just, that's worth having. For some reason, it's hard. We don't make time for ourselves. It's just 5 minutes a day can really make a huge difference.